It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we discuss Barry Ryan's departure from the club. Surely 10 managers under this owner is a bad sign. We discuss the Wexford game and Keats being dropped. And is Mpongo right to be selfish? We go to a lackluster SB of the week this time. And of course, we have your mailbag. And we ask the question, if you flush 2 million down the toilet, you don't have a 2 million asset to sell, you still have a toilet. Discuss. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast.
Alright, hello and welcome to Season 6, Episode 13, Episode 338 of your multi-award winning podcast. Throw us a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Dan Casey here, and I'm joined by my other two amigos. They are Wayne Mullins and Dominic Heffernan. Why not join us on Patreon? Patreon.com/ToeTap. Again, doing the best with the time we have. €5 a month to join. You know the crack at this stage. We're also delighted to have NordVPN as sponsors of the podcast. Sign up now for 4 bonus months at nordvpn.com/ToeTap. You're helping the pod out and you get something back, including your 30-day money back guarantee. Dominic, you finished off your honeymoon. How was it in the end? We heard from you, of course, 2 weeks ago, but how'd you get on?
Yeah, it was nice, obviously. I was delighted to be back in Turner's Cross on Friday and to be here with you now instead. But no, it was good. It was nice. I'm still annoyed about that stupid song in New York. Empire State of Mind, I've been told, is the name of it, and still think that Jay-Z is a but yeah.
Wayne, do you think Jay-Z is a
You know what? No, I don't.
He's part of the Illuminati anyway, isn't he? Allegedly.
I think he is, isn't he? He's one of those lads that kind of knows all about what's going on in the world, isn't he?
And
how was the honeymoon? Did you get to ride?
The honeymoon was very good, except I kind of said this the day I was talking to you. I got badly sunburnt the first day I was there, but I forgot to say why. It was Cork City's fault.
Go on.
It was while watching the City Kerry game. I was watching it on the beach, and for that 2 hours, I got really badly burnt. So I blame Cork City for giving us such a riveting game. I couldn't leave it.
Got badly burnt in more ways than one watching them this year, anyway. Wayne, how's your I don't know. What have you been up to? At any J matches lately?
Same thing.
Go back there now a second. What? No, just been bringing the kids to games and stuff, and just enjoying the weekend. It's nice and sunny today. It's the first day the windows open now for the first podcast of the year. The windows open, so the neighbours can hear us in full flow. So yeah, good fun.
All right, glorious. I'm not too bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to start talking about the GAA, because there'll be lads giving out but WrestleMania was on over the weekend as well. So thank God we don't have Kerry here.
Oh, is he there, I wonder? He's probably there, is he?
That explains why he's not here.
Yeah, he's rich enough, alright, anyway, I'd say.
Oh, he is. These fashionable figures there last week to me, I was like, okay, thanks.
Stalling dodgy boxes and cars up the north side,
Absolutely. Sticks and stuff. And Decky's not here either, just fantastic. Really, for 1 week, he's not here, you know?
Where is Decky? Where do we think he is? Why isn't he here?
Well, it was breaking news today, wasn't there? We get into it. We'll get into it.
All right. Well, speaking about young fellas and matches and all those sorts, it is time for Academy Watch. Only 2 matches, from what I can see, this weekend. Under 17s, they beat the Finger Lickers 2-1, and the under 15 team, they beat Limerick 3-0. I guess the big one on the women's side of the house, they lost to Wexford at 2-1 at the weekend. They lost to Wexford 4-1 at the weekend.
Jesus, Dan.
And what came today was the resignation of Barry Ryan from Cork City Football Club.
That. We got a voice note about that, didn't we?
From a Mexican phone number. We weren't too sure.
Because we thought first it's just someone winding us up here. But definitely legit, definitely Mexican.
Ended in 472.
You know what I mean?
That was the number
Tommy Watch with Ivan Draco on the other Three Amigos podcast.
What happened there? What happened there?
Who's in charge of the...
Who's logged on? Who's logged on as host?
Hello, Totap. This is Mexican women's soccer manager Ryan Bray. I met Tedom while he was here.
Who's this?
On how do you say the honey of the moon? And he said to call if I needed help. I am manager of Cork, Women's FC of the Mexican Women's Premier Division. I only started the job 4 league games ago, and today we are away to our rivals Wexford FC. We are now bottom of the league and have not yet scored a goal. I fear today we will lose 4-1, and I will have to quit my job. The problem I have is that I have not been allowed to bring in any new senoritas to play on the team, nor leave any go. It is true. I brought one senorita from the USA, and she is really good. But the club would not pay for her flight, so she had to cross the border on a donkey. They also will not pay for her accommodation, so she now lives in the basement of Totap Towers. She also plays for no dinero. The gringos at the club also refused to get her a job, or help her get a job, but she came anyway, as she really wants to play. Tomorrow, Monday, I meet with the head gringo, as I have a chance to bring another señorita from the USA to play with my team. However, this señorita must receive some dineros, but not much, and get accommodation. If the gringo tells me I cannot bring her in to help make us better, then I will have to quit and go back to my job, teaching young señoritas how to kick the ball real good. Please help me, Totap, as I fear I will have to quit. And the gringo in charge is never going to spend any money. Never mind enough to help the señoritas get better. Adios, Ryan Bray.
Ryan Bray? I thought Jay-Z was a... Those gringos sound like an awful shower.
Yeah, I mean, like, you get an experienced manager like Ryan Bray there, clearly looking for extra resources, and it's not awful that they won't invest in... Was it Tijuana FC? Was that what he said? It's
Tijuana, yeah.
I think, yeah. It's a shame. He seems like a nice guy. Now, he said that he met me in Mexico. Like, I met so many people in Mexico, obviously, the home of Totap. Everyone wanted to talk about Totap there. So, I don't really remember him now.
When, like, at least there's no correlation between Cork Tijuana or whatever the fuck they were called. That's your man Mountain
I just find it amazing that there's a guy called Ryan Bray and then a guy Barry Ryan resigns today. Like, I guess just, the coincidences are just off the scale. Like,
well, what do you make of?
Do you know what? Same shit, different day, isn't it?
What? It's how many managers have we had in the men's side?
72, I think.
There was. Well, you've Robson.
What we really
Nash.
do, we need the Las Damas correspondent on, I think. Is there any chance of getting him on? What's his name again?
Which one?
Oh, the guy,
good one. Probably Eileen or someone like that.
John maybe.
If we could get Eileen or John on, that would be great.
Is there anyone on that podcast we can get on? Anyone who's half decent? Like,
Shauna.
Yes, okay. So, or Eileen or John, surely they'd be the three best ones. Or
to be fair, it's a very
Jessica,
good podcast.
Can't leave out Jess Ferry, like.
Jessica Ferry, she'd be good. Anyone else? Are they not free, no?
Brian Fantana?
Who's the other fella?
He's all fucking mute there anyway.
It's all very funny. It's all very funny. Yeah, I can't say too much now. I know I told
just
people
going to introduce our
here.
Las Damas correspondent, Declan McCormick. Welcome, Declan.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Scott. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the big pod. I just, I said I wouldn't be here for 3 weeks, and yet here I am. It's amazing that message came in from Mexico yesterday. I was like, well, who the fuck's this guy? And why is Dom giving out our number to random Mexican men? And then Barry Ryan quits today. Unreal. Coincidental?
How long has he been there?
Barry. Yes, it was his 4th league game. So
that's astonishing.
Do you know? Like, look, I'm trying to figure out in my head how much I want to say.
You can edit it after. It's fine. Just sing like a canary. Sing like a canary. We'll worry about it tomorrow.
Like, it's just, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. We're 4 games into the season and another manager was gone. I know you were trying to figure out managers there. Like, he started with Colin Healy, then there was Liam Buckley,
Richie Holland, Tim Clancy, Jornash, and Barry Robson.
Jornash. So that's 6 men's managers.
And there's 4 for women.
We've gone through Danny Murphy, Frank Kelleher, your man, what's his name? The head of women's football. What's his name?
Craig Robinson.
Yeah, Craig. And Barry Ryan. It's 10 managers, lads.
That's
in 3 years. 10 managers in 3 years. And people will still tell you. You'll still meet people who'll tell you they're all shit managers, or there was this issue with Tim Clancy and that issue with Danny Murphy, and Barry Ryan's a school teacher. And, like, come here, like, if it fucking smells like a duck, acts like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck, like, you know? There's no getting away from it, like, and it's just insanity. And Barry Robson quit this morning because he wasn't been backed. And he realised that he was never going to be backed and that he was wasting his time.
But are these false promises that were promised, or is it just a case of I'll get in now and I'll try and change it? Or was it a case of...
Eileen says this a lot, that everybody has an ego, and we all have egos, and everybody believes they can go in and change it. And everybody, I'll be the one who'll make Dermot change. And we've been through 10 of them, and none of them have made Dermot change an inch. And Barry just realised that he wasn't going to make him change either. And, you know, there was a meeting with a player today that I'm aware of. I'm trying to kind of patching things together from stuff I knew on one side, and obviously what Barry said in his statement, and I'll get to that in a second, and everything else that you hear around the place. And, like, Barry was looking to bring in a player today, had a meeting set up with the player, and spoke to the club this morning on it. And I just presumed that he was told he wasn't bringing the player in, that they weren't going to facilitate that. And he just went, all right, well, what's the point? I'm out of here. Like, it's only a couple of weeks ago, he signed Fiona Doherty, and she was excellent in Wexford yesterday. It was quite good when she came on against Shamrock Rovers, and shows a lot of potential. That girl, very similar to what the Mexican lad there said about, you know, club not pitching in different ways. And I believe it's the same situation for Fiona. And Barry went to them and said, look, he saw how well Fiona played in Wexford. I have another opportunity to bring somebody else in, but it is going to cost you something this time. And they just went, no, not happening. And he went, all right, I'm out of here. And that's it. And fundamentally, that's it. And, like, he knew he didn't have a budget, but he also presumed that he could move players out and move players in and whatnot. And he got, as I said, he got Fiona Doherty in. As far as I'm aware, she's not taking a wage. And the club haven't been overly fair to the girl. But she's still turning up and playing because she wants to play. But she'll be gone in the summer because another club will see this is a good player and we can look after her and we'll take her off them in the summer, you know. And that's what's happening. It's a shop window.
Do you know the way there's a minimum wage for players playing for League of Ireland football, men's football?
Yeah.
Considering we're a professional football club, is there any law against what they're doing with the women's team?
If none of the women are on pro deals, one player is on a contract, none of the other players are on a contract. So no, there's nothing against it, because if a female player signed a pro deal, then there's minimum standards and minimum wages and what, but they're not being signed to pro deals.
So they can literally come and go whenever they want. They could,
the registrations are still held by the club, and they can only go in the window. But if you're if you were coming from amateur, etc., you can be signed and things like that. And they're all amateurs anyway. They're all, so like this player they were going to get, they could have probably got them before the window opens if they wanted to. And she's another American girl, I know her name. I'm not going to say it because it's not fair on her. But it's just a shit show.
Who's going to take this job now, knowing what's going to happen?
No one.
No one's going to take it.
Absolutely no one. Craig Robinson and Trish Fennelly. Only two who'll go within 100 yards.
Why would they take it knowing that they're pissing against the wind? Literally, you're pissing against the wind. Like.
So you tell me. Genuinely, you tell me. I'm only coming up with two names. Craig is head of women's football. And Trish has been around the club. I cannot think of, I've spoken to managers in the league today. I've spoken to people around it. Nobody, and you cannot say it enough or emphasize it enough. Nobody in the League of Ireland, players, managers, coaches, anybody is coming within a spitting distance of Cork City women. Nobody, absolutely nobody. And everybody just sits around and goes, it's a fucking disgrace what's happening down there. And yet, here we are again. It's I'll be out there now on Saturday with my daughter at the match, and it'll be there's big bad Decky, and he's giving Dermot shit again. And
who's going to say that though?
I know, but Eileen says it, you can smell it in the air. You know where you're not welcome.
Are these the same people who got our men's team relegated twice in the last 3 years? Are these the same people that have caused this relegation? Why would you care what they think?
Of course it's the same. No,
they enable this shit every fucking year for the last 3 years.
It's not about, no, it's not about what people think, but you just know where you're not welcome. And it's a strange feeling walking into the ground when you're not welcome there, and it's incredibly, I don't care, but in another bit, of course you care. It's your club for 30 years, and I know I'm not wanted out there. I know I'm not welcome there. I can walk in there, no problem whatsoever, but, it's not,
There's about 4 people who don't want you there, I'd say.
But,
And that the 3 of those people are because the one person doesn't want you there. Let's call it a spade here, People, there's probably one person doesn't want you there, and the rest are just following because they have to.
Well, the amazing thing is, there should be 6,000 or 10,000 people in Cork City now who don't want that one person here. And I think it's turning that way today. I have to say, Scott, I was kind of, when you said last week, and you were in the middle of a rant, and I can't remember exactly what you were talking about, but you just said, then he should just fuck off. And I kind of went, oh Christ, I don't know, are we there yet? In my own, but I didn't interject and I didn't say anything. I know, but as a podcast, we never called for him to go. None of us have come on here and said Dermot Usher should leave Cork City and the fan base should try and force him out. And the fan base's protests were all around investment and spending money and doing, but nobody's ever actually kind of said, we want this man out. But today, this evening, I'm absolutely convinced it's the only way forward. When Barry Ryan walked out, lads, this is a lad who's used to bringing in young players, dealing with young players, developing young players. When a coach like that walks out, you just go, we're all just wasting our fucking time here. Barry wouldn't have wanted much, Dan. Sorry, he wouldn't have wanted much. He wanted to bring one player in who had to be paid, something and had to be accommodated. It's not like he's asking for hundreds of thousands for fucking players or whatnot. They said he got Fiona Doherty to sign. My understanding, amazingly, she's not earning a wage, she's not being accommodated, and she's still here because she wants to be in the shop window and she wants to play. And the club saw her play yesterday, and it just makes no sense. And somebody told me he had a Zoom meeting last week with Aina and Dermot, and I kind of went, a Zoom meeting? Sure, Dermot doesn't do Zoom meetings, he only wants to meet in person. Well, allegedly Barry Ryan was on a Zoom meeting with himself and Aina last week, so maybe he only doesn't want to do Zoom meetings when it's fucking for us. Who knows? But it's time to go. It has to be time to go.
Can I ask a question? Is there any way they could just pack up and just leave the club and do their own thing that they did 15 years ago?
No, it's all tied to licensing and everything else.
What stops the players?
Like, you could do it, but you could do it, but you can't.
Going, I'm not playing for you anymore. That's it. No team.
Oh, well, absolutely nothing, because there's none of them under contract. They could all go in the morning. No, I've enough of this. I'm retiring on that. And there's nothing the club could do about them because they're not contracted. They're not being paid.
Do you think they should?
You're talking about going on strike then? Like, no, I don't, because they're too young. You can't put that on the players, Dan.
Oh, no.
You can't put that on the players.
I was only asking what could happen in a scenario.
Oh, no, I understand that, Scott.
That the players go, I have enough of this. Like, because you can imagine a lot of them would be thinking that.
Yeah, they're not under contract, so they wouldn't be in breach of contract. There'd be nothing like that. Like, it's just grand. The club would have their registration and they couldn't play for anybody else, but there's nothing that says they have to turn up on a Saturday and play.
I just find it mad that in the UK and even in the rest of Ireland, everyone's doing everything they can to improve the game. Everyone's trying to break those barriers, crash through those ceilings. And like, it doesn't have to be a cup of tea. Like, you don't have to be going to games or watching it, but it's good to see it happening because every other sport in the world is. There's no gender issue. Well, there is, I suppose, but this is one that's been improving for the last decade. It's booming in the UK. And I just don't understand why we're not. Like, the excuse is going to be, if money goes to the women's team, it has to come out of the men's team. That's going to be the line that's going to come out next, probably, right? But as you said, they're not asking for much. And I think
money was never an object.
This is the other thing. That was obviously one of those lines. Like the one he said, what was the line about the dippers? It was obviously not a lie, but it was obviously a mistake he said that. Because money isn't an issue. It is obviously an issue. But if they're asking for much, if you're taking a couple of £100 out a week, like, come on. Respect is needed. Is it? Like, there's always been talked about Totap not respecting certain things. This is next level. This is, I don't know, maybe I'm talking schmears, so I just think it's just, look, I've got a daughter. Like, you've a daughter, you get it. Like, when you don't have a daughter, maybe you don't get it. Maybe that's 100%. What it is. I don't know.
And it's like, and I've said this, it's different when you take your kids to the games. You saw that with your son, Scotty, and I'm seeing it at the moment with my daughter. She's come to the home games with me this year, and it's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
Completely different experience. And those girls give everything to the kids after the game. Like, I cannot, like, we're sitting here on Saturday in the Ireland games on the TV, and she wants to know, where's Eva Mangan? Why isn't Eva Mangan playing for Ireland? Do you know? It's just this incredible to see it with your own eyes and see what the players give back. Like, I know I'm not anybody's favourite person there, but two of the players came out and sought out my daughter after the last game because she'd spoke to them after the first game, and Shauna McCarthy especially came and looked for her, and fucking, you know, that meant the world to her. And then she went away and invited Eva to her birthday party and all this kind of stuff, you know, and it's like Eva's can't go, we've a match that day, but I'll make sure, you know, I'll send you this and we'll send you a ball sign and we'll get the team to do a message for you and we'll send you the message, you know, and like, they don't have to do that stuff, but they're so into it and they're just treated like shit, like, time and time again. And the club just go out and, like, I don't understand it. The fucking Examiner today, like, the club first, Barry Ryan put out his statement, right, on his own Instagram, which is on private. And that's where we saw it. And obviously we picked it up from there. But, like, the club then, in putting out a statement, which they put out on Instagram and never put on X. It's on Facebook and it's on X. Or, sorry, on Instagram. It's not on X. So I presume they're hiding from the one place where people can quote them and call them out. But again, I'm just presuming that. But, like, Barry says in his statement, I'm just trying to get it here now. 2 seconds. There's a line in his statement that is very, very clear and non-ambiguous about what's going on at the club, you know? And the club then takes some of Barry's statement and use it in their own announcement and don't put any fucking word of why he's left, which he clearly states, into it. And it's just like, what are you doing? And then the Examiner come along and they do the exact same thing. And, like, it's
do you know what that is?
So, yeah, so Barry says, Couldn't possibly put into words the respect and admiration I have for this group of players. But there's changes that need to be made, and a new voice might be able to demand those changes. Now, I think he's gone very light there, because there's no new voice going to demand. They demand it, but they may not. They won't get them. And he thanks the club for the opportunity. The club then put out, and they leave out that part, but there's changes that need to be made, and a new voice might be able to demand those changes. Then the Examiner do a fucking story on Barry Ryan leaving. And they also leave out that part of his statement. And you're just kind of going, what's going on here? Where are, like, I'm blue in the face from saying, where are the Examiner, where are the Echo, where are the radio stations? But in a story where Barry Ryan has left, and the Examiner and the club are putting it out there as if he's walked away because they've lost the first 4 games of the season, when he clearly states in his statement the reason he's leaving. Now, I'd expect the club to do it, but I'd expect the fucking Examiner to have a bit more notes about them and put in the part of the statement where he calls the club out and says changes are needed, and another voice might be able to get those changes. And I don't know why the local journalists and the local papers are so reticent against calling the club out. It just makes no sense to me. None. And when there's this big bad toe tap, oh, your man's after Dermot again on this week's podcast. Lads, the club is in fucking bits. Absolute bits. The women's side of the club is a disaster. And they'll go into forest meetings and they'll say, oh, it's grand, we're doing this and we're doing that, we're doing the other thing. 4 games. 1 goal scored. That was from a direct free kick in Wexford last night. 4 losses. Manager is gone. Are you seriously going to try and tell me that you still back Dermot Usher? Are you seriously going to try and tell me that you believe Dermot Usher has the best interest of women's football in Cork, has the best interest of those girls who line out in the Cork City jersey? That's who has the best interest? And that us and Las Damas and Eileen Ring and John O'Sullivan and the rest are only fucking pricks whose only intention is to bring down Dermot Usher, whose only intention is to cause trouble for the football club, cause trouble for the women's club. Open your fucking eyes and look at what's going on here. 10 managers in 3 years. 10. They can't all be fucking wrong, lads. And it's time, I wasn't planning on doing this, but it's time for the fan base to just say, pack your bags, as Scotty said last week, end of. I don't care. And you can bar me from Turner's Cross, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But it's time for him to go. And it's time for him to go, not on the back of the men's side, it's time for him to go on the back of the women's side of the club. And anybody else, anybody who disagrees, that's fine, you're entitled to your opinion. But nobody will ever convince me otherwise, no. This is a shambles, an absolute shambles. But people will still say, oh, no, there's no other offers, there's no... If he wants 2 million for the club, we'll be stuck with him forever, because he's not getting it. It's time to pack up, give up, say, I lost 2 million on this project, and head away back up the road. Because anything else is just wasting everybody's time, including the men's first team, the men's management, but most importantly, the fans of the football club. Because you have to realise now, when Scotty's obsessed, and other people are obsessed, and I don't mean obsessed, but very engaged with the summer window. How does anybody think there's going to be money spent in the summer window? And we have 3 years where there's been nothing done properly. Why is this window going to be different? All the evidence says it doesn't. You have a women's manager who lasted 4 games. I don't know. I'm probably wrong again. I understand that.
I think we're going to win, piss this league, but I actually think we're going to get relegated again next season.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, it's because 1, luck, or 2, there's someone worse than us below us, as in like UCD kind of thing, that kind of level. And even at that stage, we'd be lucky, because the only reason I'm an advocate of the window is because I think Robson deserves to bring in his own players, even if not his players, his own mark on it. And the only way he can do that is this window. And if he doesn't do it, there's 2 reasons. 1, he hasn't been allowed to. Or 2, he doesn't give a shit and he's pissing off anyway. I think Robson will be gone. I think he'll wait till the end of the season, get on his CV, and I think by Christmas we'll have a new manager again.
Do you think this pod, and you think the whole narrative surrounding it now is just building the siege mentality within Dermot Usher, and he's going to fucking try to stick it out just to spite everyone? and try prove everyone wrong.
Either way, it ends one way. It ends one way.
He's never going to.
I said this last year that too many bridges were burnt and too much water under the bridge. Nothing can change, in my opinion. And look, it's fine. Look, he owns the club. He can do what he likes. But I'm supporting this club for 30 years, 35 years. And if I don't like it, I'm fully entitled to not like it. And fully entitled to voice my opinion. And fully entitled to think that it's embarrassing where we are. I grew up through a Cork City era. That was amazing. It's a shit show now.
Just on that, since joining the podcast, I've enjoyed matches and stuff, people coming up to you and saying they love the podcast and they agree with what we say and stuff like that. Once I had somebody come up to me and say, I see you've bought into Decky's narrative or Decky's agenda. And at the time I said, what agenda? But what I should have said is, yes, I've 100% bought into Decky's agenda from the start. And because Decky's agenda is the same as all of our agendas, same as everyone who loves the club, it's to see the best for Cork City FC. And if that's a bad agenda to have, then what are we doing supporting the club? Because our job as supporters is to want the best for our club. If the best for our club is to call out whoever, if it's called out to players, if it's called out to managers, if it's called out to coaches, if it's called out to staff, the owner, even the support culture or whatever, that's what we have to do if that's what we want. And yeah, so if that's the agenda, and we're absolutely on board that's the only agenda, is that we want what's best for the club. We're all massive fans. And nobody can say we don't care about our club. We really do. Everyone here does.
But see, it's getting so hard to be a fan, is the thing. Like, it's so fucking unenjoyable.
It's life with the kids getting involved. If I didn't have them involved, I don't know what. I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be like, couldn't be arsed. That's sad, like.
But that's it. But there's lots of people like who have just turned and walked away and who'll never be back.
Yeah.
And you could fool yourself with €5 tickets against Kerry and pretend that they're not coming back. Like, and that's the thing. People talk about agendas. Dominic hit the nail on the head. There's no agenda here. You know. What about the agenda when we announced that we had trademarked the Rebel Army thing, and one of us, and I'll say it's not me, and I'm not going to say who it was threatening physical violence? I see you walking down the street, I'll puck the head off you. Who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? We don't talk about that stuff. We don't think, It's not my fault and that too caught up in things not to understand what we were actually doing. What we were actually doing was protecting the Rebel Army name and ensuring that it couldn't be walked away with at some stage. No, maybe it will be, but we did our best to try and sort it, like. Yeah. Here's, I'll slap the head off you if I see you coming down. You better change, Fucking nonsense. Some of the shit we've had to put up with that we never speak about. Never fucking go on about. Fella's job's been fucking threatened. Fucking, fuck that, like. If I have an agenda, it's well fucking versed. I've no problem saying it. Absolutely no problem saying it. And half the shit that we think doesn't even come out. We don't even speak about it. It's just life. Get on with it. You put yourself in somewhat in the public domain, you expect it. You get it back. You understand that. Don't tell me I have an agenda because I want the best for the club. And at this particular moment in time, it's absolutely clear that that Dermot Usher is not best for this club. I don't bear him any ill will. He tried. He's failed miserably. As I said, time to move on. That's it. End of story. No big fuss. You lost 2 million. It's not much to a man of your wealth. Take it on the chin and move on. But it's definitely time to move on. Absolutely 100% time to move on. And don't give me this fucking shit about who'll pay the bills, blah, 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 blah. The bills will be paid. There'll be plenty of people out there willing to pay them.
Dom.
Just to follow up on what Decky said so far, and also what Wayne's point about burning bridges. Like, I didn't want to talk about this. I didn't want... Like, there are some great people in the club still. And you don't want... Like Decky said earlier, you go into Turner's Cross, you feel like you're not welcome. Nobody wants that. We want to go in, support our team, get on with everyone and stuff. So I don't want to talk about it, but like, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, 2023, Dermot Usher came in, I was all for him joining. There was a couple of dodgy things at the start of his first season, like he started his battle with this podcast and obviously there was the appointment of Liam Buckley that ended up disastrously causing us to be relegated. I wouldn't blame him too much for that because, to be fair, it was a good appointment at the time. It just didn't work out well. And then he came on his own podcast and spoke about how he made mistakes, he got that one wrong. And you're like, right, this is great. He's taking responsibility for his mistakes. And that's a brilliant sign. But that was the last time we saw that level of responsibility and ownership, I suppose. But after that season, the 2024... So, yeah, I wouldn't blame him for the relegation the first year too much. The 2024 season, he built a decent squad for the First Division. But the problem was, and we saw with Dundalk this year, you need to build a Premier Division squad if you want to succeed following that. But still, it was a good squad. There was some great players. He brought in Greg Bolger, some experienced players, Sean Murray and Jack Doherty and stuff. But Tim Clancy kind of didn't make good use out of the players. But the problem at the start of that season was he really doubled down after just one season on this podcast, getting the media accreditation removed, starting his own podcast to rival us and so on. That's grand. In that summer is when he should have built a team to avoid relegation. He didn't do that. And that is... If we'd built a Premier Division squad in the summer, then we'd probably be in the Premier Division now. It didn't happen. That's where another relegation is unforgivable. And even coming into the summer transfer window last year, I was all for... I wasn't a fan of him, but my thoughts were, if he can avoid relegation and get us back to the glory days, we'll all be celebrating him. We'll be buying him a pint. We'll be delighted with him in a couple of years if we're in Europe. But it came into the window. What seemed to happen was he made some good signings at the start with Fiacre, Kelleher, Rory Feely and David Adamusa before the window even started. Then there was the protests and he decided, fuck this, I'm done with it. I'm not investing anymore. That's in my opinion. And that was the problem. A second relegation is just unforgivable. If he'd even gone and won the FAI Cup or something, then maybe you could work your way back in the future. But in my opinion, no matter what happens now, we're going to win the league this year. We might avoid relegation next year, get into Europe, win the league in a couple of years, get into the Conference League, win the Conference League for all that matters, win the FAI Cup. I don't give a shit. There's too much water under the bridge, as Wayne said. It's too late. There's no coming back from it.
Wayne, has it stemmed out from just one person at the club to multiple now, do you think? Too many?
No, I still think. I like it's like any job. You have to kind of toe the line, which I totally get. But there comes a stage in life where you kind of going, enough is enough. Like, maybe I should move on myself. I don't know. Yeah. I just don't look. I don't understand. I've been around way too long to like he says about being unwelcomed. So what? It's your football club. It's our football club. It's everyone's football club. Maybe not in ownership, but it's just like we had the great times in the 90s, 2000s. It was amazing supporting this club, like, and that was just, it's embarrassing. We're always in the media for the wrong reasons. It's just, it's sad. Do you know what I mean? It's just actually just sad. It's heartbreaking, actually.
Of course it is. It's absolutely heartbreaking. You know? It's like,
but the thing is,
First Division.
If we don't call it out, who's going to call it out? Red FM won't do it. The Echo won't do it. The Examiner won't do it. The FM won't do it. The journalists in Dublin won't do it. And you can make excuses all you want about, we can't because we get pulled. You're a journalist or you're not, like, you know? You either want to do your job properly or you're going to toe the line. That's your choice. But, like, no one's going to call us out unless we do.
Like, I was reading today in the forum, Dermot took over in February 23. Right? We were relegated in 23, we were promoted in 24, relegated in 25. Right? So in 3 years, 2 relegations for the men's side, and the women's side have finished bottom of their league 2 of the 3 years. No other fan base in the country would put up with it.
The world, Declan. The world.
Yeah, in the world. If you said to Drogheda tomorrow, Drogheda fans, if you said to Dundalk fans, whoever it might be, Waterford fans, your owner is selling up, Dermot's leaving Cork City and he's taking over your club, all of them would be like, absolutely not. We're not having this, like, under no circumstances. And yet, and I'm not criticising people, there's a cohort of City fans who will argue with you that it's okay. This is okay. We're just going through a transition period and X, Y, and Z.
Do they even believe that, though?
No, I don't know. Maybe they just want an argument. Maybe they just want an argument. Maybe they don't. I genuinely don't know. You're probably right, Dan. But you do meet them, and look, as Dominic said, they'll tell you, I have an agenda. This podcast is an agenda. We're anti-Usher. I'm not anti-Usher. I'm anti-Cork City Football Club being absolutely shit from top to bottom. That's what I'm anti. The problem then is I believe that Dermot Usher makes the club shit from top to bottom. I'm not anti-Usher. I'm anti-Cork City being shit. If Dermot ever corrected the issue of Cork City being shit, then I would not have an issue with him. But all the evidence suggests he's never going to solve the problem. And while he's here, Cork City will never not be shit. And I'm anti-Cork City being shit. So there we go.
We were relegated once, and we swore we'd never do it again. This sticks to our history. 3 relegations. It's not good enough. There's no way of out of this, I don't think. How do you get out of it? Win the league? That's never, ever going to happen. Under this. No. Anyway.
How did we get here from Barry Ryan leaving? I don't know.
Just on that as well, I just want to point out that everything Decky said about a lack of investment in the women's team is false. And I know this because the club representative at the Forest meeting said the following. Barry Ryan has been appointed and his ambitions are aligned to the club's. Clearly not. It's a very young squad. The club wants to keep together. Very cheap squad. The club wants to keep together as it has the potential to kick on, which I think means save money. He said there is a plan. He said there is a plan similar to the men's team. Finish bottom every year.
Clearly.
Oh, lads.
To bring players through the academy for cheap and add experience. I don't know where. He said before Dermot came to the club, none of the women's teams were getting expenses, and that has changed, allegedly. The coaching budget for the senior, under-23 and under-17s teams have increased. Dick, you might be able to clarify that, but if not, then I'd say it increased from nothing to practically nothing. He said, some people think investment only means new signings, but we believe that investment means no new signings.
But
that's your view now. I totally disagree with you there, Dominic, just to clarify now.
There's a line there where he says, and add experience. A young squad and add experience.
Where's the experience in the women's squad?
And Barry Ryan has left the club because he's not allowed to add the experience. So, look, their own words trip them up every time. Every single time their own words trip them up. And I've said this about Dermot a lot, and people will know it. He says something at the time because he thinks it's what people want to hear. And it'll kill whatever conversation, you know? Or I'll tell them we'll sign 10 players in the window and then they'll leave me alone. Oh yeah, lads, look, I'm telling you now we're going to sign 10 players in the summer window, and all the Forest meeting or the supporters meeting goes, oh, that's brilliant, we'll sign 10 players in the summer window. And then he doesn't do it, and he expects everybody to have forgotten that he said it in the first place. You know? And it's just, I don't know, but it has to change. It has to change. It's amazing to think that we're saying on a podcast that a seminal moment is when the women's manager quits. But to me, it is the seminal moment because of what Dominic, I know he took the piss out of it to a degree, but what was said at that Forest meeting. Our values are aligned with Barry Ryan's. Our objectives are aligned with Barry Ryan's. Here is the plan. This is what we're going to do. And Barry Ryan lasted 4 games because he knew what he was told was absolute bullshit and they weren't coming through with it. So he said, right, I could stay till the end of the season and lose all the games and nobody cares except me, and I'm not going to do it, so I'm out of here. And as I said, who cares? Probably nobody. Probably not a lot of people because it's women's football. But it's indicative of what's happening at the football club. It's indicative of what's happened at the football club for the last 3 or 4 years. And look, I don't know. I fucking thought he was coming on for 5 minutes just to talk about Barry Ryan. And I am, 30 minutes later, roaring and shouting and telling the owner to fuck off back up the road. I obviously had a spell. No, I'm going away. I can't. My head will explode.
Thanks for that. No, yeah, appreciate it.
Do you know? But look, yeah, but I'll never forget it. Never forget it. Before I go, when Eileen Ring was summoned to that meeting very early on, remember when Last Dance was just a Cork City podcast, and Eileen went in and said, "This is the blah blah," and Eileen was summoned to that meeting, and she came out and she came back to us. She said, "Lads, we're fucked. We're absolutely fucked." I wish I'd listened to her stronger then, to be honest with you. Because that was 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Once again, Eileen has been proved right.
Sure.
Absolutely. No, she was talking about the women's side. She wasn't talking about the whole club in general. But she wasn't. Like, she was obviously focusing on the women's side. But, yeah, she was 100% correct. So
thanks to Declan McCormick, our Las Damas correspondent, whose views are purely his own and of Las Damas.
Mine and my own.
Imagine if we actually got one of the good members of Las Damas on, like, how good that would have been. Like,
it would be amazing because they would have been far more elegant than I was. They probably wouldn't use the word fuck at any stage. Although I'd imagine Eileen never uses language, but she must be close to it at this stage, to be honest with you, you know? But yeah, look, que sera.
I haven't seen her actually at games. She's not going anymore, is she?
Again, she's another person who's kind of... No, she's 2 young kids now as well. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's so hard. So hard. Well, look...
We could and very well might make a list of people well-known who've supported Cork City for a long time and are known in Turner's Cross and stuff who've stopped going in the last couple of years, because I was talking to somebody about this recently and it is alarming.
I'm not saying Eileen Ring is no longer going to Turner's Cross. I'm saying she has 2 young kids and it's not easy to get out on a Friday night to go to games.
But sure, look, at least Tom Grennan is coming down, lads. He's promoting his live at the Marquee gig. He's not.
I didn't even know who he was. I still don't know who he was. No idea. Genuinely. Sure, look. Grand job. I'm out of here, lads. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thanks for joining us, Declan. Maybe join us again sometime.
Hopefully. Maybe about 3 weeks' time.
You hope. Unless there's anything else comes up next week that you have to jump on for.
If you hear any news from any managers and stuff, just jump on there, leave it live and come back on if you think.
All right, okay. No bother. Lads, thanks for having me. Always nice to talk to you.
Thanks.
I'll say
adios, Sticky.
Yeah. They're the right side. Good luck. Fuck's sake.
He's still there, lad.
He's still here.
He's still there. He's camera off, there. But he is fucking there.
Of course, he's doing this stuff now to us, like.
Right.
Half hour pod now, lads. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
One point. Can I just make one point before we move on from
30
Tommy
seconds
Watch?
is all you're getting.
The club will, like, I wish nothing but the best for the people in the club. It's never personal. And we don't want them to feel like we're personally attacking them. But I want it to be very clear that we're not. Nobody in the club, nobody listening to this, we know they're going to be listening. This is a message to them. You can't be sitting there listening to this thinking that we have some kind of agenda, that we're out to get you. You can't see anything wrong with what we're saying. We genuinely have gone through this for the last 3 years. We know what we're experiencing. We know what we could be experiencing. We've been supporting Cork City for long enough that we know the good times. We know the bad times. These are as bad as it gets. Are we wrong for calling it out? Are we wrong for giving our opinion? Are we wrong for trying to hold a bit of responsibility? If they've got any problem with what we've said, they can absolutely feel free to come and talk to us and tell us what they think our problem is. I'm more than happy to talk to anyone. If they want to come to me and say, what you said in the podcast was out of order, and we can discuss it, why do you think it was out of order? This is why we said it. This is what we think. But they won't do that. They'll just sit there and say we're completely out of line for disagreeing with them, and you're never going to get anywhere like that.
We surely must be in...
They say the same about us, it's fine. Get over, move on, like, who cares?
But my point is, what have we said that's out of line? What have we said that's not
I
right?
called players pricks one time and I got really offended over it. Even though I didn't call them pricks, I said they were acting like pricks. But at the end of the day, I was actually right, I was proven right, because we got relegated. Mm-hmm.
With that twice. Team that year. Yeah.
But I didn't actually say that, but that was used as a stick to beat us with.
Which we shouldn't do that.
Let's talk about Barry Robson, eh?
that he's fucking off.
Well, he's a legend.
Why is he a legend?
His interviews, you remember Jordan Ash last year going on about fucking players wanting to be here. Like, Bray Robson has just this grin on his face every time. He just sucks you into his world of just madness. Like, and I think he's amazing for the club. I really do. I'm going to put it up there now again this week.
Are you as sucked into Barry Robson as Wayne?
Not as much as Wayne. I don't know if anyone is. I don't even know if Barry Robson's wife is as sucked into Barry Robson as Wayne is. But that's okay, because we are all about positivity on this podcast. Yeah, I do think he is good. There's a lot that I like from him. There's a couple of stuff when we're talking about the match we might talk about too. Like, there's a couple of things you're like, what are you doing that for? But you can see the reason behind it too.
Hands on Pongo with a brace. Wayne Mullins, were you at the cross? What did you make of it?
Yeah, do you know, I'm going to start off negatively in Pongo. You see, if Decky was here now, and to records, Slava Milosevic, right, was a player in the 90s for Aston Villa, right? He was Serbian. Actually related to Slabodan Milosevic. But anyway, he was the kind of player who would score a hat-trick, or he'd score a 40-yard work. But he'd do what Hans and Pongo did on Friday night and clear a goal, basically. Like, one moment was magic, and next moment it was just, how are you even a footballer? Like, I just couldn't understand what went on sliding in for that goal. Now, 2 great goals, fairness to him, and he took the one off Keating, which I admire, because you know what? It was his chance. Which that was my negative. My positive, he scored 2 great goals. Fair play to him.
Dominic, is he a bit of a selfish player, do you think? Is that a fair criticism of him, or is it just good that, look, it doesn't really matter, he's banging him in anyway?
I think both are true. Like, I do think he could have left that second goal. Keating probably would have been able to score it too from the angle that he was coming at, but we got a goal, we won the match. That's the important thing. Is he a bit selfish? Yeah, probably, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's his job, is to get goals, and that's what he did there. So yeah, I don't have an issue with it as long as he's winning us games and scoring goals for us. But then you've got, it might have been what you were referencing earlier, when he slid in and cleared the goal that Shawnee was going to score from, and he slid in. It was great. If he was defending the goal, it would have been a brilliant save, a brilliant clearance. But yeah, that was going in. I've watched it about 10 times already since then, and that was going in if he had left it.
He's backed himself to be top scorer, I'd say. Trying to take him off Shawnee.
That's what you have to do as
a
striker.
Better when he's up front, when he's not on the wing. Like,
well, what way do we go forward about this then? Because obviously Keating didn't start the game for the first time, barring the
goal scorer stays on is the fairest, isn't it? Really, until you score a goal. If Keating scores, he comes on. He gets the next game. Why not?
Oh, but if Hans is in form and Keating just happens to get one,
if Keating comes on with 10 minutes to go and scores, he's the last goal scorer. He stays on next game. Simple as.
I'm not too sure. Are you happy, Dom, with Shawnee playing the role that he's in as kind of the support player?
Yeah, do you know, I'm kind of happy to admit when I'm wrong. Like, I said it a lot at the start of the season, that Shawnee is a 10, not a striker, and he should be playing in behind the strikers. He's been playing, now he has been dropping in a lot, but he's been playing as that kind of second striker position almost, and it's clearly working. Shawnee is far exceeding the expectations most would have had from him. You know, when he was as good as he was in 2017, to be gone for so long, and to come back, nobody could have, a lot of people would have hoped for him to be as good as he is, but I can't get over just how good of a player he still is.
Yeah, well, I thought he was going to be it wasn't great last year, been excellent this year, by far and away the best player in the league. But do you think he's going to be able to keep going out into Premier when the competition is much different? We saw with Cathal O'Sullivan, how amateur he made players look in the first division, but then the Premier, he just wasn't really cutting the mustard for a lot of the time.
Yeah, but that is massive thing. But we all saw that Shawnee wasn't great last year when he was playing earlier in the year in particular, but he was coming back from injury. Now, he got injured early on the season because he was being overplayed and he was being relied on too much. Then, once he came back, it took him, I can't remember exactly, but you'd say a month, 2 months, maybe even more to actually get back. By the end of the season last year, we were seeing a lot of promising things from Shawnee. He was looking a lot better. But there was that spell around the summer when, to be honest, everything had gone to shit the club as well at that point. But I do think he was struggling to get back to full fitness. So as long as the same thing could absolutely happen again. He's played nearly every minute of the season so far. I must check exactly the statistics on it, but he's played so much that he could well pick up another injury, and if he does, we're fucked. But
so are you rotating him now? You're getting Keaton in.
Yeah, now just maybe that is the best thing. Maybe that is the best thing for we're playing.
I'd be waiting until we're kind of winning games comfortably and then taking Shawnee off.
I don't think we're good enough to win games properly.
Not playing him against, next game.
Mm-hmm.
Are we really good enough to be putting these teams? Well, we clearly are at some points, but the consistency is.
It's just getting it right. I think. The consistency players, we're doing okay. We're doing what he wants us to play. It's just, I think we need to take more pop shots, just from outside the box. I just think that we're trying to work it in too much. I don't know.
Well, the keepers probably aren't great in this division either. The Wexford goal, it kind of comes bobble in the box. They smash it in. Dom, from your coaching standpoint, is it a poor goal or is it?
It's
okay to give away-ish.
Is it ever okay to give away a goal? I think, from that goal, it really comes down to poor defending. I think we lacked a lot of defensive stuff, and that's kind of been a trend throughout the season. But just sticking to the goal for now, Drynan, I thought, had a very good game overall. So I don't want to criticise him too much, and a lot might disagree, but I thought the majority, he made very few mistakes. Except for that goal, he made 2 mistakes in it. So there was a free kick from the halfway line, and it was aiming from kind of the Derrynane Road over to the corner, the wing by the corner flag, to Mikey Rowe. Drynan got there ahead of it, but he took a first touch, he kind of took the touch in the air, and the ball fell in towards Hodgins for Wexford. But you could argue maybe if he had taken a better touch, he would have kept it under control. That might be a bit harsh because, to be fair, it's not easy to control the ball in the air like that. But even if he did the best touch that he could possibly do, he was very slow to chase after it. He'd given away possession in the box and he didn't chase after it quick enough. But Kelleher ended up defending it by following the ball across the box and went out wide. Probably the right thing to do technically, but he could have also maybe put in a tackle once he got towards the edge of the box or something. It's hard to know. But the ball came back in, and Mikey Rowe got ahead in it, fell for Jake Doyle. Drynan won the ball back, but it kind of just fell to him and he just kicked it forward. There wasn't any plan. He wasn't passing it to anyone. He wasn't doing anything. He was just kicking it to get rid of it. A clearance is fine, but it just fell straight out to Jamie Wynn. So that was 2 things. The bad first touch from the original cross, and then once he won possession back, he just kicked it instead of actually doing anything with it. Other than that, I thought he had a very good game. But there was just a lot of kind of sloppy defending. Charlie Lyons as well didn't... there was a lot of... It was a poorly defended goal.
Well, what defenders are good enough for Premier Division there? Is the only one Feely? That you want to take coming into?
The only one's Feely, 100%. I don't think Brand's good enough. I don't think Keller is good enough. I don't think Lyons is good enough.
Damn.
It is really hard to tell who we've seen. We've seen Charlie Lyons have a full season in the Premier Division, and he started kind of poor last season, but to be fair, and a lot of people said Freddie Anderson had such an improvement when he was put alongside Feely. But the other side is Lyons was alongside Freddie Anderson, so maybe he could have... It's one of those things. Maybe some of them with a good coaching, you could have the same back four, and you could argue that they might be able to avoid relegation. But that's not where we should be aiming. We should be saying every single player can be improved on. That's the standard. I do think Feely's good enough, And this, again, a controversial one. I think Drynan's good enough because in 2023, when we signed him, I thought he was very good for us. So I'd like to see him get a chance. But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't be too worried if they stay, but I'm also wouldn't prefer to improve on it.
Do you know when you concede a goal, right? There's two ways you react to it. You kind of go, "Oh, it was coming," you know.
Mm-hmm.
Our reaction every single time was, "For fuck's sake!" Every single time when we concede a goal, it's like something goes wrong. You know, you understand if you're under pressure, and but there's always something that goes wrong to concede a goal, and that's why you can kind of see that certain players just not clued in. And it's fine. Look, you don't have to be good enough to go up, but we can't be taking these players up next season. If we do, they have to be bench players, 100%.
Okay. Before Decky absolutely kills us if we don't mention this one, all of the back five, that's Brand, Ryan and Lyons, Kelleher and Feely, were all booked. So there you go. That's one for the stats nerds. And Feely, Lyons,
to be fair,
Patrick, go on.
To be fair, it also has to be said that Alan Patchell had an awful game and he was booking there was 10 yellow cards given out in the game. It was not a game that needed 10 yellow cards given out. He was booking everyone. So that probably skews that.
I think we have a Patreon or something about the ref assessor absolutely going through them. But now that leaves Feely, Lyons, Fitzpatrick and Bulger. They're now on 4 yellow cards. So obviously then the 5 yellow card rule comes in, and they'll be getting suspended if one of those boys gets a yellow card. Wayne, what do you make of Turner's Cross and the atmosphere? Great against Kerry, obviously. But
it's never. I wouldn't blame anyone at the club for that, really, I think, because it's a shit season. No, you can kind of, I suppose, because we're not trying to improve it. We're not enabling it to be good, but people are just fed up this season. And this is why anything that goes wrong is amplified. It is, and rightly so. Shouldn't have got relegated in the first place twice, and once under the original relegation chief. But what else can you do? They did their best for Kerry. They did a good job on it. And then crashed back to earth then with this game. You know.
Dom, did you get out to the Finger Lickers game during the week?
No, I didn't.
Okay. All right. Well, we won 2-1 anyway.
Our under 20s beat them 2-1, which is great. Delighted for Kerry after their behaviour in Turner's Cross the last time.
What behaviour?
Do you remember they were scrapping at the end of the game and stuff.
Sure, look.
Don't mind them.
Take no look.
Kerry anyway, Dom, aren't you?
Am I?
Castletown. Oh, that's lad. West Cork. I actually see West Cork as its own fucking county in of itself. Really. Well, the fact you say West Cork as well, you don't even include yourselves in the rest of the county.
That's true, actually. Jesus, I never thought of that.
West Cork people do. I don't. No.
All right. Well, we'll drive it on, lads. We'll go to the mailbag because we seriously need to inject fucking
do a half-time?
Bit of jizz into this. Yeah, we'll go for
Can I just make one final point on Friday's game? And it's actually a point that Decky made. So I'm stealing this off Decky, but the worrying thing is now we've conceded 4 goals. In the last 4 home games we've conceded goals. Against the kind of opposition that we're playing, that is quite alarming. That doesn't give you much hope for next season. So to go back on what your question, Dan, about are any of the back 4 good enough to keep for next season? If we're going to be conceding the amount of goals against these shitty opponents, these non-footballers, when we're playing against real footballers and real football teams, we're in a lot of trouble. And if you look at those 4 games, so there was the Longford one, and we really analysed that goal about how shit defending cost us. Paraship running through the defence, and Doug Bessia was behind the players and they didn't even know where he was because nobody scanned. We played at Lone. They've only scored 7 goals this season, I'm going to say. I think it's 7. They've scored 3 goals away from home this season. So one, other than playing against us, the best team in the league, the only professional team, they've only been able to score against 2 other teams away from home. It was Longford have only scored 7 goals in total this season. One of those was against us in Turner's Cross. The Kerry game, we we've already analysed how shite we were in the first half against Kerry, and we got it right. We fixed it for the second half, and so that doesn't need to be looked into too much. And then the Wexford goal, like you said, poor defending again. So the worry is there's a lot of poor goals being conceded.
That's why they're not fucking good enough to stay with us for next season, like. Surely.
Which kind of answers your question there.
All right. That's the end of the first half. Toe Tapper, stay with us and all that, because we'll have the mailbag and SB of the week in the second half. Yeah.
Hey there, Toe Tapper. This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN, and we have a deal of a lifetime. So listen up. Are you still surfing the web with all your personal info hanging out? That's like going to Fountainstown with your Mickey dangling for all to see. But fear not, my digitally exposed friend. NordVPN is here to hide your pecker. With NordVPN, you can cloak your online presence faster than the club counts gate receipts. Say goodbye to those pesky ad trackers and hello to streaming shows from all over the globe. Want to watch a dodgy stream without it buffering? NordVPN might just make it happen. And hackers trying to steal your data? They'll have better luck finding Kimberly Mikado in the tea room. NordVPN's got more layers of security than the VIP section on match day. So what are you waiting for? Get NordVPN today and surf the web with style, security, and a sprinkle of quirkiness. Go to nordvpn.com/toetap for our exclusive deal. It's practically free. You miserable.
All right, welcome back to part 2, Toe Tapper. It's now time for your mailbag. All right, we're going to go...
Yeah, Postman Pat.
Cheers for that win. It's time to go to our Patreons to name and fame. Anthony Falvey, are we going for the world record of most coaches resigning across a club?
Can't do this again.
Will that be Usher's famous legacy? Dom, 10 words or less. I'll be counting.
No, his famous legacy is most relegations.
Oh, he did it.
Kieran Johnson. Barry Ryan gone. Who on earth would want that job on their CV? What's the point of having a women's team if our club aren't going to treat them with even an ounce of respect? When?
It's correct. You know, whatever you think of, is it worth having certain teams in the group of Cork City? You've got to respect them. End of story. Like, you know, you have to support them. At least give them a chance. That's all you have to do.
That does seem to be a concern, is who you're going to get in there. So I'll ease the concerns of the club. I'll do it.
Fair play, Dom. Edward, balls to the wind. With the retro weekend in La Liga last week, which one of our past kits would you bring back? But you can't pick the 89 to 91 kit. Personally loved the 95 to 96 home kit. White with red stand-up collar, 3 green stripes on sleeves, big black surround city crest. Wayne, you're obviously a man of the continent first and foremost, and a man of
our
kits.
very first jersey, our very first one. It was like Guinness. Well, it was a second year, actually. I think it was Guinness, and I had the kind of QPR old one with the stripes going across. It was a lovely jersey. That and our red pigeon shit one, which was the old Soviet Union one. They're my two.
Dara, in a roundabout way, does Dundalk's excellent start to the league show the importance a good manager has in the Premier Division? Dom?
In a roundabout way, yes. Yeah.
Dara also says, Watford look terrible. If you could take one player from them, who would it be? And surely we should be doing our due diligence now. Conan Noonan for me.
Would you take any of them?
I'd take Conan Noonan. Tommy Lonergan, maybe. Would you take Benny Couto or Evan McLaughlin back?
Oh, yes. I'd take Benny Couto back. I know, I would take him back. Yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
What, you take Benny Couto back, but not Evan McLaughlin?
No.
We only got a season with Benny Couto, whereas we got a few years. Was it 2 years? 2 years with Evan McLaughlin.
Dave Nagle. Yeah, but Evan McLaughlin was far better player by the end of that season.
For the last 6 months, though, Dan, like, he wasn't really pulling up trees for the first 2.5 years. He really wasn't. Like, I know he was a bit of a what do you call it? He was playing different positions in left back, and he was playing midfield, and he was winger, and he was attacking. But still,
Well, no. To be fair, it was only one season. He was only with us for 2 years. 2024 in the first division, he was left back, and then last season he kind of played a more midfield role. Was it?
Not 3 years, no.
No, 2.
Oh, okay.
He was the 2 Tim Clancy years.
Dave Nagle.
He's a decent player, but I'd love to try and get better. Do you know what I mean?
Dave Shitty Shoes Nagle. How and why did mayonnaise end up in Wayne's curries? Anyone with other odd food combos? And if you could only eat potato one way forevermore, how would you have it? Chips, mash, roasties, hash browns.
Get a big pack of hunky dories, right? Buffalo, crush them into mash, loads of butter. It's fucking unbelievable. You put
the crisps into mash.
Just try it. You crush them up to like really tiny pieces. They have to be hunky dory buffalo.
Who put you on this fucking hack?
I just do random stuff like.
You came up with it yourself.
I absolutely, yeah.
What the fuck does be going on?
No,
what else have you come up with?
Look, mayonnaise in a curry is amazing. Just try it.
Well, I'm au fait with that one now myself. That is a good one.
Yeah,
I will say. Tom, any shouts in your end?
What was the question? I got lost by that.
Food hacks.
Any weird food combos?
Another one you could do actually, right? If you're trying to be a little bit healthy, you get wraps and you make a pizza out of it, but you put 3 layers and you put the sauce in between and you roll it up. And then you cook it that way.
With the rest,
good.
And if
to be honest, I don't.
If you could eat potato one way forevermore, how would you have it? Chips, smash, roasties, etc. It has to be chips, like
chips. It has to be chips.
Yeah, 100%.
Much more versatile too.
Sean Sullivan, on Sunday I went to Turner's Cross for the Beamish Cup final. The place was still a kip from Friday night's game, which is embarrassing enough. But one thing I couldn't believe is the defibrillator near the door of the player's entrance is broken. Some bollocks went to the effort of opening the door of it and putting up broken stickers on the machine itself. The place is going from bad to worse. Wayne, surely that's just negligence now at that point, if the defibrillator is fucking...
Who owns them, though? I don't think that is the club. Is that not?
Well, it's surely... Is it the Fishing Alliance?
It's an area I wouldn't know. I wouldn't.
Either way, they'd need to fucking sort it out, though, surely.
Absolutely, of course they have to do. Especially if it's the only one on the ground. Jesus.
Great to see people supporting the Beamish Cup, though. West Cork's elite cup competition.
I think there was a fair few that went.
Drina beat Ardfield 2-1.
Unreal. Were you there?
No, I'd actually missed it. It was on at like 12:30 or something. If it was on a bit later, I would have gone. But I was busy at that point.
If Big Bad Dermot Usher played as a lone... Brian Fox says, if Big Bad Dermot Usher played as a lone striker for City for the rest of this season, how many goals do you think he'd score? And Billy Darnay, we don't even have to answer because Billy Darnay replies, he'd score another big fat own goal. I mean, why change now? Right, we're going to drive things on to our questions on X. What I stalled to bring them up. Scott Buckley. Question for Wayne. How convincing are City in your opinions? As in my opinion, we are very beatable, but consistency and form are key. The likes of Murphy and Pongo and Fitzpatrick are doing well, but how convincing as competitive side are we looking into the future?
I'm enjoying how we're playing. I know it sounds a bit mad, but I'm liking the whole... Let's get out wide, get in the box. Is what we are. We're trying to just... We're not doing the whole tiki-taka shit that most clubs do. I think we're trying a different way. I think we just lack concentration. Like Kelleher, like he just loses his mind. I don't know what happens, but he goes to sleep so many times during a game. I think Conor Brand can't kick a ball. I think Drina's doing very well. Murphy's doing very well. And Pongo, like I think we're doing okay. Like I generally think the window, get a few in, get a few out, and just see what happens.
We won't. Not a hope.
No, I think we're going to have to get rid of a few players to get them in, but you know.
We can't afford to get rid of anyone.
I nearly forgot. I need to bring this up, lads. This should have been in Commie Watch. City players are staffed with personalised number plates.
Go on, name and shame.
I'm not going to name them, but you can only get personalised plates from the UK. Like,
so who are we talking? Anyone
I saw one. Both of them in the space of 2 days. I was behind one of them on the Link Road, and I saw the back of it, and I was like, "That's your name!" Like, and I looked in the window, and you could see there he was. I don't know. I am not a fan of it. I don't understand it. I just think it's a bit. It's
up your own fucking hole, like.
Maybe it's an English thing. I don't know. Like maybe it's a thing they do over in England. I don't know. I just find it a bit kind of.
Dominic,
really?
Would you get a personalised plate now if you could? Like,
I wouldn't. My fuck. There's about a million other things I'd get if I had the money.
It's a cultural thing, maybe. I don't know. Is it a cultural thing?
It's a stupid thing. But to be
Kerry
fair, it has to be
would.
pointed out.
Kerry would.
Kerry would. It has to be pointed out though that player is young, so maybe it's one of those things the kids do. The other one that you saw the day before, that's unforgivable.
Mm. Yeah. And
look, that person's in Ireland long enough that he shouldn't. You know?
It's just my view on it. Like, I just think it's a bit mad, you know?
Couldn't see Barry Robson going around in a personalised number plate.
It's not Barry Robson. Because if it is, I would have helped him take them off. I would have said, Barry, this isn't good enough. Like.
Yeah.
And he'd
Barry, somebody's vandalised your car.
I think Barry would understand if I went up to him and gone, Barry, you should not be having personalised number plates. He'd be gone. He'd understand, I think.
Billy Dorney asks, or states probably rather, another one bites the dust. Women's manager. No wonder. Paltry wages. No accommodation to attract a good squad. Bottom of the heap and with good reason. Not funded. Embarrassing it is. Dermot's fucked the club up the ass and its loyal supporters. No shying away from the truth. Dominic, do you feel like you've been fucked up the ass?
What a guy Billy is, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, there's no other way around it. Absolutely, we've been.
Without a Johnny, I would say.
Careful now, lads.
Philly Crowley, if you could put City into any other league in the world, which one would you choose and why? And I asked then, are we as good as the other teams in the league? Or we are as we are? Or we're as good as the other teams in the league? We're competitive. So unlike our current situation.
So in that sense, you would be thinking...
Of course, La Liga. You can go
La Liga, Serie
after every game. Like. And I'd have us in Mallorca. That's where I'd put us. Slap bang in the middle. Palma. There we go.
Yeah, typically you would be thinking if we're as good as any other team, you would put them either at the English Premier League, the La Liga, Serie A, one of the big ones. But it has to also be pointed out that fuck those leagues. The only league I want to be in is the League of Ireland Premier Division. But I don't know what's more realistic. Do we end up relocating to a foreign country or we end up surviving in the Premier Division?
We could be like an NFL team
in the English Pyramid as well.
Takes us over.
Fuck them. It's a shite league with shite teams and just a shite culture. I hate English football.
What's wrong with the culture?
It's English.
Oh, that's a West Cork mentality, all right, isn't it?
I don't like. I've made it very clear so many times I can't follow English Premier League football anymore because it's just, I find it sickening when you're in Ireland and you see Irish people who are so obsessed with English teams but don't give a shite about their own local team. Fair enough, you follow both. You have an English team and an Irish team, but your local team should always be coming first. Even still, if you're, because I have people telling me this the whole time, oh, I love Liverpool, but fuck the League of Ireland, I wouldn't go near that. You are the problem with Irish football if that's your mindset. Who's next? There's time yet. We could get another one in.
Connor K, what is your hidden gem of food in Cork? A back alley place that does an unbelievable burger, a nook of a pub that pours the best pint, not the secret garden he has in brackets, or does Mam just do everything perfectly? Wayne, I think you'll have a good one here, will you?
Yeah, I love Bunsen Burger. It's savage. It's just the best burger you're going to have. Out of a smash burger.
Dom.
Gone very fond of Roosters, actually. But you know where I went recently, which is a good show, is the Black Market.
Mm.
It's like the Marina Market, but it's not owned by Tom Collin. So it's definitely a great spot for that. It's much quieter too.
Okay. Rian says, who would win in a 40-yard dash? Bad Decky or Fiacre Kelleher?
Oh, Decky will win that, hands down.
Dom, surely. Clean, like, I think we're...
Have anyone watched the Tyson Fury documentary on Netflix?
The new Netflix one? No, I haven't seen it. It's supposed to be good though, isn't it?
At one stage, he's running, like he's doing a kind of a selfie, like Instagram video or something about saying he's coming back. But the camera then kind of zooms out and he's running and he's literally trudging like he's walking. And it's like, he keeps saying, I'm running. He was like, taking so long to run. Like, Westford Kelleher, same thing. Like,
Ian Crowley, is Hans the ultimate poacher or simply a striker doing his job to score as many goals as he personally can? Dom, to be fair, I think we've probably already got to that one. It's a little from column A, a little from column B.
And he's pretty much right to be doing what he's doing, taking the goals. That's what a striker does.
Ian also asks, you have a choice to purchase one. What do you choose? The Bishopstown campus or MFA Turner's Cross? Surely you want the Cross, don't you?
You do, but like, you kind of hope that that's not our long-term home. Like, you'd hope you'd have bigger ambitions. Would you not?
It's hard to imagine anything else at this stage.
Do you really want to be here in 30 years and we're still playing in Turner's Cross? Like,
yes.
Christ. I don't know, lads. You have to have an ambition.
I love Turner's Cross. I just think there's something magic about it.
There was magic. It's not magic anymore. It's been ripped to shreds in the last 5 years. It's gone. Like,
is it just like everything falling apart inside it, or is it just what's happening on the pitch that's ripping it apart? Though
it's a bit of both, really. But the thing is, it can be fixed, and we can get it back to the way things were. All it takes is a bit of care. A
multi-millionaire owner, maybe.
Well, one that actually. Money. Yeah, so a philanthropist more than an owner, I suppose, is what it needs. But I wouldn't like to move anywhere else. I think the location of Turner's Cross, between, like, you've got the Turner's Cross Tavern, Corner Flag, the Mountain, you've got all those pubs nearby. It's so close to town that you can walk.
But Musgrave Park, if you qualify for Europe, you can't play there. I know you've got Park Equive, but like, God knows what's going to happen there when you get like Musgrave Park. You've got space. You pass all the. You know, to park a bus in there, all that kind of shit. You pass it, like, you just build stands, and it's a perfect location. And we have history there. We've played many games there in Musgrave Park, and one of our biggest ever games against Bayern Munich. I just think Turner's Cross has history, but I think its time is eventually. It's fine, but I'm talking 20, 30 years. Would you really hope that we'd be bigger and better and out of there? Like,
I'm sure there's going to be no other stadium.
That's why Musgrave Park is the best option, because you've got before the Munster decide to sell that, because they're going to eventually, and it becomes a housing estate. That's going to be gone in 20 years. There's no chance they're holding on to that.
Do you think so?
Oh, I don't think. Like, there's no.
They are sure. The outcry from Cork versus Limerick now on the rugby front is insane.
But they may need the money. Like, it could be a case of, do you want to win a Heineken Cup, or do you want to keep on hold of Musgrave Park? Like,
yeah, fair enough.
All right. Do you know what I really wouldn't want? Is a miserable, soulless 50,000-seater stadium, and for everything to be as big as that, and where.
But you'd like a 10, 15,000 stadium that's nice, like something you see in Luxembourg. Andorra freaking have it.
Mm-hmm. Just back my point about English football, I think there's something just really nice about League of Ireland stadia, that they're small. You're not just a number. You're not just a customer. You're not a tourist. You're a part of the club. And I think there's something about Turner's Cross that you just feel like you are a part of it.
Yeah, but would you not like to have something like Loftus Road or something? Do you know, that size, where it's 15,000, 20,000?
But sure, we'd be fucking embarrassed inside in there, because it'd be 2,500 going to a game when we're playing Kerry in the first division.
There's potential in this country. You just have to have people involved to make it cool again, and not an embarrassment for the fucking. Like,
well, we've so missed the boat on that being cool. We fucking.
They can easily get 10,000 there in big games. You know what I mean?
The hype around the Dublin clubs is insane, and we've just lost out on all of that and all the hype behind it from TikTok, from all the social medias. Like,
that's nearly the worst thing to happen to Cork City over the last few years. Is there was a League of Ireland boom that Cork City missed out on. Our attendances are smaller than they have been in a long time, and everywhere else is growing. You've got all these clubs in Ireland, Bows needing to, they're sending out the stadium every week. There's other clubs, I think, the Shells are the same, that they were saying they need to upgrade or something. I can't remember. There was another team. There's everything there, and we are pissing around with 2,000 people in an empty stadium. It's sad. But
until it's a fiver in, you play.
That's the thing. A sold out Turner's Cross there's nothing like it. a sold-out electric Turner's Cross.
When that stand-up for the Cork City comes, like...
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
half those seats aren't even there anymore, and both sets of stand. Like, didn't we replace the seats in Downey Ford last year, and then we just left the rest of the place? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
But look, have to look after those in there. It is now time for SB of the week.
Was there any Instagram questions? No, Decky put something in.
Did he? I didn't.
A question from James Greenan.
What did he say? Do you have it?
If you flush 2 million down the toilet, you don't have a 2 million asset to sell. You still just have a toilet. Discuss.
Oh, I can't. I haven't got it in me now.
Yeah, I think we'll just leave that one off. We'll move it in to SB.
Can we ask it next week? Will you ask it again next week, James? Please, thanks.
It's now time for SB of the week.
It's time for the SBMBS of the week.
Right, Dom. There's big expectations on your shoulder now about SB of the week. But there wasn't much some bollocks going around the place, I feel like, in the league, unfortunately, after the glorious week we had the week before.
Yeah, do you know, it's really hard to follow up on the iconic SB of the week last week.
Which Dan had an issue with.
What do you mean that that it didn't win, lads? How the name of Christ does James McLean seeing a little person sucking off a fat lad in a woods? No, in SB of the week, like.
When you put it that way, like.
To be fair, he couldn't help it. He saw it. According to him.
It's not really on him. It's just like, that's only going to happen once ever, like. And who won it, like?
We can throw in wild cards. Don't worry, we can throw in a wild card at the end of the season if we need to add more in.
Yeah, I think that's needed. I think needs to be a recount on that.
We'll be throwing a wild card so if that James McLean won. So at the end of the season, the fans can decide.
Absolutely.
To be fair, it is hard not to, like, how often are we going to get to talk about James McLean seeing a small person sucking off a fat person?
Right, golden buzzer. There we go.
Right, Dom, SB of the week for this week, please.
Yeah, so it appears that the rest of the league took stock of how much we are keeping an eye on them and decided to behave a bit this week. So I have 4, but the first one, and I have to be careful with this one because one thing we won't ever talk about in this podcast is politics. It will keep that out of it. So this one is nothing to do. This person might be a politician, but we're not. The Some Bollocks isn't about politics or anything. It just happens to be Tommy Gould so Sinn Féin decided to wear League of Ireland jerseys recently and do a promotion supporting the League of Ireland, which is great. We want to see a lot more of that. But Tommy Gould was there. It was a TD from Cork. Cork City is his local club, and he was not wearing a Cork City FC jersey.
It's a shame.
What's he going on?
It's a missed opportunity. One of the biggest clubs in the country, and we're not represented there.
Considering our ex-chairman, was he chairman? Jonathan O'Brien is a City fan?
Yeah, he was chairman. He's a City fan.
What jersey was he wearing?
He was wearing like a 2002 Irish jersey. Still great to see people wearing an Irish jersey.
I think it was the Euro 2012 one, wasn't it?
Was that recent? I thought it was an Aircom. I could be wrong.
I think it was a 3. I think it was like a 2012er.
Okay.
Anyway, our next SB of the week.
It goes to Kevin Long, Agent Long, as he's now been called, for after their loss to Sligo. He was walking over to clapping the fans, and he decided to give 2 fingers to the Waterford fans. Not a great start.
Someone did try claim, I think it was Dodge, that he was saying, what was it? That was 2 goals.
2-0. It was 2-0.
2-0. That was it. That was
majestic. Like, he went from applauding the fans, like, and then just flipping the 2 birds. Like, it was majestic. Love it.
Yeah, that excuse if he was saying there's 2 goals, like Robbie Fowler when he was pretending to snort the white line, saying that he was being a cow eating the grass. It's the same. Or was it Didier Drogba years ago? I think it was him. Fans threw coins at him And he threw the coins back, and then he was asked, like, you shouldn't be throwing coins at the fans. And he said, well, there's a recession. It was during that time, and I just didn't want people to be without their hard-earned money. Same kind of thinking. The third one I have anyway is the Echo Live for their post. Now, we shared it on Twitter during the week, so they put up an article. Let me find the wording of the article, but the article said, Cove Ramblers failed to fire in home stalemate with Cove Ramblers. Now, that is just mad that they actually played themselves there. And the B team played the C team.
Yeah, it was still up 3 days later, wasn't it? 2 days later, it was still up.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't know if they've taken it down since, but it was a couple of days later we spotted it. It was
There's only one winner this night.
Is there one more nomination though? Hold on.
And the last nomination, and we've already discussed, we don't need to go too much into it. It's the Examiner for their article about Barry Ryan that came out today, where they cut out all the parts of his Instagram post and his statement announcing that he was leaving, and just left in the parts that look good for Cork City.
They're too scared to be journalists, basically.
Pretty much, yeah, but that seems to be the common trend in Cork, really.
In Ireland, it's Ireland, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be fair, it is.
Like, if you're scared to lose your job because you're a journalist, why are you a journalist in the first place? You got to go back to why you want to be a journalist in the first place.
Well, then you won't be a journalist because you don't have a job.
Like, I just don't get it. Anyway, for sure.
So,
lads, there's poor SB nominations this week.
It's not been great, to be fair. But look, we'll go with the winner. I think, anyway, I don't know if you agree. In my opinion, it would be Kevin Long for giving the 2 fingers to the Watford fans.
I did, and I changed my mind in the end. He sucked it out of me the last... Whoa, what did I just say?
There's not a little person in there, is there?
Where's James McLean?
Yeah, the last one. I think it was the last one.
The Examiner?
Yeah.
Dan, what do you think?
Look, I'm happy to go with the Examiner now. Whatever gets us through this fucking pod now at this stage. Right. That was your SB of the week.
It's time for the SBMBS of the week.
All right, the Wayne Mullins derby. Wayne is head in his hands here. But Wayne, it is the Wayne Mullins derby this coming Friday. Playing Bray Wanderers away from home. Are you going to that? Are you going up to it?
I won't be going to this time. I won't get a chance to get up there. But yeah, it's another 3 points in the bag, really, isn't it? And I think this time we're going to batter them. We're going to batter them this time.
Dickie's going to absolutely ape shit when we have no fucking bones of a preview at all.
No, but seriously, they were second in the table for a few weeks. Now they're fucking tanked. So I think we're going to batter some team sometime, and I think he probably will start with Keating on the bench again. But I reckon we will score 3 or 4 this time.
Dom, what's your expectation of what are you leaving Keating out again?
Don't know. No, it's one of those things. I wouldn't want to leave him out, but it really is a case of how do you fit. You want Keating, Mpango, and Shawnee playing. I don't know. Maybe I would go Keating and Shawnee. Yeah, Mpango got the 2 goals, but he didn't like to play some fire either. So yeah, do you know what? I'd swap Keating in for Mpango. I'd be playing a 4-4-2. Shawnee and Keating. Yeah, so
they've lost 3, drawn 1. So, and before that they were in second place. You know.
So basically, fuck it. We'll win no bother.
I don't know if we won't bother, but I think we are due to batter someone off the pitch again. I think we need an away one. I think this is going to be it. Like, Carlisle Grounds is quite an easy place to go to. Let's be fair here. Like, it's not intimidating. It's not. The only problem could be the wind because it's on the seafront. Like, other than that, keep the ball. Like, yeah, we will.
Balls to the wind, Wayne. Balls to the wind.
Balls to the wind. And I can set up my old weather station wind map thing there. We can launch there on Friday night if you want.
Lads, like, we're going to be... We'll have played 11 games. We've a game in hand with the other teams. And we're already 8 points clear, like.
It's game over. Like, we knew this. We knew it was like game over. It's just a case now of...
Well, this is going to creep into the club now that we'll be grand for the Premier Division. Oh, sure, we didn't plenty enough in the tank in the first again.
2 points, lads.
And that's a very good point that Dan just made. And that's why, like, you feel so miserable and negative, constantly moaning, yeah, we won, but it's not good enough and stuff. And we're saying the same thing over and over again. And yes, it's harsh, but it needs to be, because did they learn the lesson from 2 years ago? We don't know that they did. And that's one thing, I said it before, I want to stop talking about it, is that we could preview and review every game with, it's the first division, it's shit, it doesn't matter what happens. But I do want to try and look into it a bit more than that, so as to not be constantly beating the same drum. But it is a point that needs to be made, that we can't allow ourselves get that sense of security that isn't there. We don't want to find ourselves back here in 2 years' time.
But we will.
Absolutely, yeah. The way things are at the moment, there's no reason to believe we won't. We won't avoid relegate, or we won't be relegated next year. Back to Bray, though. I want to actually back up Wayne on this. Wayne's known for being Mr. Bray, I suppose. I completely agree with Wayne.
Also Mr. Shamrock.
Yeah, Mr. Shamrock.
Yeah. Shamrock Rover sympathiser. Yeah. But I think outside of Cork, Bray is my favourite place in Ireland. It's so nice. You don't agree, Wayne?
Basically just a shit Dublin suburb.
It's so nice.
Absolute shit all. What are you on about?
I've been there twice for matches and both were nice days. Yeah, so that might excuse my judgment.
Is okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Yeah, I won't say anything more than that.
Lads, Dom, like, no. You were just in Mexico and all, like. Bray is not a good town, my man.
I like Bray. Now, in saying that, I haven't actually really been into the main town part of Bray, just kind of Carlisle grounds down by the
seafront.
The sea
nice,
there.
Like, fairness,
It's, you feel like you're not in Ireland on a sunny day there.
I wouldn't say that either. Like, Jesus Christ, let's not go too far now.
They do have a very regal McDonald's in the middle of the town. Did you see it? It's like in an old building.
It's in an old building, yeah. And then you go down toward... Anyway, I'm not going to say bad about the place.
It's a good place for Cork City fans to go up there on a Friday night, get a few pints beforehand by the sea, and then head into the match, and then maybe...
The trick is, though, if you're going up on a Friday, don't take the first Bray exit, take the third one, and then come back from the other side of Bray, and you skip all the traffic. There's a tip for you now, lads.
That's the local Mullins knowledge there.
Yeah.
Dom, Jimmy Corcoran in goal, how many are we sticking past him?
As long as we can get crosses in and take shots that are into the corner. Yeah. Not dropping, resting, rotating, you could say. Like, you want... Unless... I mean, you have to work out a way. You've got three players who seem to be playing their best football as strikers. You can... When we played Mpango on the wing, didn't work. He wasn't good on the wing. He's been good as a striker. You can play Shawnee as a 10. So maybe if you're to do like a front three with Shawnee in behind, what's the word for it? Like basically, you play like a 4-3-1-2 triumvirate. That's it. Yes, that's it. No.
Yeah, triumvirate.
Is it? There's a
threesome, whatever you prefer. I don't know. Like it's just.
But basically, anyway, a 4-3-1-2 or something like that, or
4-3-1. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe that's how you incorporate all three of them.
It's what they used to do in the 90s. You'd have two strikers and one fella behind.
Yeah. It is basically a 90s tactic, but I think it would be very effective for us. It was in Italy is where it actually became very prominent.
Yes.
All right, lads.
Yeah.
What did you say the score prediction was going to be anyway?
4-0. No, we have to concede 4-1.
Damn.
2-1. 2-1 City.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 City. I don't think we're blowing anyone away. But anyway. It's just too easy.
James McLean is around.
Right, I think that concludes this with the Three Amigos podcast. Is Decky still there to say
you've
goodbye?
got another point to make.
He's definitely there. He's going to pretend he's not, though. So.
Oh, I do. The last point we have to make, we forgot to mention it, I think, a week or two ago. Féileacán are going to be our charity, the Killian Murphy Nutmeg charity. We've lost track, but look, they'll be a couple. Go on, what's he on?
We're on 7.
7 nutmegs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a point to make after
it could
this.
be 6.
We'll
be 6.
After it.
We'll go on the side of the positive one and we'll go for 7. And what is it, 100 per nutmeg, is it?
No, it's not.
What do we say was it?
Something.
Jesus, lads, come on. We'll throw them. There'll be a fair bit of bobbing it anyway.
We give him more, of course we will.
All right, lads.
We can't. He might start giving 4 nutmegs a game, and then we're completely screwed.
I think we said if. Oh, hang on. Did we say it was a $5 per nutmeg? But if he gets 3 a hat-trick nutmegs, we double it. Yeah.
Christ almighty.
So it'd be 30. I think if he gets 3 nutmegs in a game.
I'd say they're probably about 200 at this stage. If we're charging 30 a nutmeg, I can't remember. Someone's going to tell us anyway.
Right. Sure. We'll get into the charity because it is a serious matter. The charity we are supporting is Féileacán. So they're a stillbirth and neonatal death support formed in 2009. And basically it was formed by a group of bereaved parents, offer support to anyone affected by the death of a baby around the time of birth. And they're now a national charity, so doing great things around Cork. They also have a football team where the men get support coming together, playing a bit of ball. And Wayne, great partner for Toast to have for the year ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have a good partner now, and we can hopefully get a lot of cash for them to help, any way we can.
Absolutely. Was there something you wanted to add there, you were saying?
I can't remember, no.
Okay. Well, look, you'll be hearing more about Féileacán.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy's better than Cathal Sullivan ever was.
We already knew that.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's 100%. Like the difference is that Murphy's work. He's consistent every single game. Just go watch him, everyone. Make sure you go and see him. We've gone anytime we know that we have to go and watch him. He's brilliant, amazing.
Okay, I think that concludes this episode of the.
Just one thing to add. This is completely random. Yeah, exactly. No, this is completely random. I noticed earlier when I was on FAI Connect that Sligo Rovers are playing Treaty in a friendly today for some reason. Just thought I'd add that in. Sligo beat Treaty 3-0. Why the fuck would you be playing a friendly now? It looks like they had a weaker team, but there was a couple of... Treaty had a weaker team, but Sligo had a few first team players. Yeah, just weird thing.
There was a few Leinster Senior Cup games as well, wasn't there? That's where Bray lost.
We'll worry about that another day. All right.
Bray and
Great podcast, everyone. All right.
Thanks,
Bill. All right, and adios.
Arrivederci.
Adios.
Hey there, Toe Tapper. This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN, and we have a deal of a lifetime. So listen up. Are you still surfing the web with all your personal info hanging out? That's like going to Fountainstown with your Mickey dangling for all to see. But fear not, my digitally exposed friend. NordVPN is here to hide your pecker. With NordVPN, you can cloak your online presence faster than the club counts gate receipts. Say goodbye to those pesky ad trackers and hello to streaming shows from all over the globe. Want to watch a dodgy stream without it buffering? NordVPN might just make it happen. And hackers trying to steal your data? They'll have better luck finding Kimberly Mikado in the tea room. NordVPN's got more layers of security than the VIP section on match day. So what are you waiting for? Get NordVPN today and surf the web with style, security, and a sprinkle of quirkiness. Go to nordvpn.com/toetap for our exclusive deal. It's practically free. You miserable.